Hey guys, what's up? Just gonna go live both here on YouTube and on my Facebook page so that we can talk about something that I've been reading a lot on LinkedIn this week and also some stuff on Facebook. So in 2019, law was signed into order. I believe it was an executive order by Donald Trump. And it was that hospitals had to release their prices and have what's called pricing transparency. So what that means is that they're supposed to disclose essentially what they get reimbursed for services. And that varies widely based on their contract with a specific insurance company. And the other thing I'll tell you is that as a private practice owner in the state of Colorado, I'm not allowed to publish my prices for insurance companies on my website because it's a violation of antitrust laws and a violation of my contract with the insurance company. So this being an executive order from the president is great, but it violates a contract that the insurance company can then legally hold me responsible for, even though the president said it's necessary. And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so that Americans understand what their costs are going to be before they have a procedure done, before they have a hospital stay, before they have any kind of medical expenses. But what they don't understand is that there are rules set in place. So there's what they call the Medicare physician fee schedule. And the Medicare physician fee schedule, anybody can actually look that up. And as long as you have the code that you're looking for, there's a Medicare, physician fee schedule online that you can type in the code, type in your area, and it'll tell you how much you get reimbursed. And I can tell you that in Colorado, as a physical therapist on the Medicare physician fee schedule, I get paid differently than for what we call a therapeutic exercise charge or a 97110 charge than they do in Utah, than they do in Montana, than they do in Wyoming, than they do in New Mexico, and then they do in Mississippi. In fact, that code gets reimbursed lower typically in Colorado than it does anywhere else. And as a very small micro practice, which I have always been a micro practice, I don't have any say with my insurance contract. It's just the broad-based end of. What I can tell you in the state of Colorado is that if somebody has a contract with United Healthcare for physical therapy, it's a capitated rate. The same is true of Blue Cross Blue Shield. The same is true of Cigna. And there are other ones as well, like MedRisk. So if you have a work comp policy through MedRisk, where they manage it, the person is getting one flat rate, and it doesn't matter how much time they spend with you, and it doesn't matter what they do with you. So that said, it doesn't matter if a hospital tells you what they're getting reimbursed by an insurance company, except that they could then be sued by the insurance company, making the insurance company a ton more money. What matters is that you're being lied to and being told that you should be a good consumer of healthcare. But in most cases, the rates that you pay for things are set by the area for reimbursement to a hospital group based on what the insurance company thinks is reasonable. And what I can tell you is that every year since I've graduated PT school, physical therapy services have been reimbursed less. In fact, over the last 3 years, we've averaged a 9% cut. So what I'm going to tell you and ask you is this: can you afford to take an almost 10% pay cut every year and still afford your home? Can you afford to not get a raise over 14 years? Because the last time any insurance company gave physical therapy services a raise, it was Medicaid, and it happened in 2014. And before that, it was in 2017, and it was Cigna. And it was like $1.50, just so you know. So you say, when you're reading these things, and the people reviewing these things say that this is all physicians being greedy and providers being greedy. But what I will tell you is that I don't have any control. I have tried to renegotiate my contract with Cigna every year. And every year I get told that I'm not doing anything different than anyone else in my area. And therefore I don't deserve a different amount of reimbursement. The fact is, I'm not like everyone else in my area. I don't have a physical therapy assistant. I see 100% of my patients 100% of the time. I don't pass them off to an athletic trainer or an exercise physiologist. And here's the other thing you need to know. If you are seeing a physical therapist and you see a physical therapy assistant for part of that visit, there are modifiers that should be placed on the code that you spent with the physical therapy assistant. And there's a different modifier if that person is less than a physical therapy assistant, meaning they're not a licensed professional. So if they're an athletic trainer or they are an exercise physiologist, there's a different modifier code that should go on that claim. And it may allow you to not pay your copay, waive a portion of your deductible, or not pay your coinsurance. And they're not telling you that because they're trying to earn the same amount of income using less expensive people to do the work, but still charge you the same amount of money. And the insurance company stepped in 2 years ago and said, no, you can't do that anymore. So if you're at one of those places and you're not being seen 100% by a physical therapist, and or there are other people at your appointment and the PT is working with them at the same time they are working with you, you're being cheated out of your healthcare dollars and you're being lied to. Physical therapy services are meant to be one-on-one, or they can be a group code. The group code is less expensive than the one-on-one codes. You want to be a good consumer of healthcare, start looking into what your options really are. Start looking around to see what kind of care you want. If you want to spend your deductible getting great care by a provider who knows everything that's going on with your body and see the same provider every time, choose a small independent practice. If you don't care, you just want to go in and do the exercises with some supervision, choose one of the larger practices. It's that simple. But this thing of hospital transparency in pricing and providers gouging the patient, if the provider has a contract at that hospital, they have no say over what the hospital gets reimbursed because the provider has rights at that hospital. The hospital set a contract with the insurance company, and the insurance company has a reasonable rate for the area that they will reimburse. And it has little to do with the hospital itself and more to do with what the insurance company is willing to pay in that area and what the Medicare physician fee schedule says is allowable. I hope you guys all have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day for 2021, and I will chat to you later.